I once waited 7 minutes to touch my salad because one woman at the table hadn't been served yet. 7 minutes, I counted. But I sat there smiling politely, pretending I wasn't starving. Why? Because somewhere along the line, maybe from my grandmother, I learned this rule: never start eating until everyone is served. But here's the twist: not everyone agrees. Some think it's outdated, and a few just don't care, because the food's gonna get cold. So today, we're diving into those controversial etiquette rules, the ones that make people pause, roll their eyes, or quietly take note of what kind of person you are. Let's see where you stand. Rule number 1. Should you ever start eating before everyone is served? If you ask my mother, the answer is an immediate absolutely not. These days, I regularly see people start nibbling fries straight from the tray while they're still paying at the counter. But here's what the truly refined do: they wait. Unless, and this is key, the host or someone of obvious seniority insists you begin. It's not really about food temperature. It's about respect. It's saying, I see you, I acknowledge you, and I won't start until you're taken care of too. Rule number 2, excuse me versus silence. What's actually correct when leaving the table? This one feels small, but it isn't. You're at dinner. You need to leave the table. Maybe to fix your lipstick, maybe to make sure your child hasn't set something on fire. Do you announce it? The answer, not really. In refined etiquette, saying excuse me loudly is actually considered a bit gauche. It draws unnecessary attention to a private moment. Think about it. Do you really need the entire table knowing you're headed to the restroom? The elegant approach, a soft excuse me to the person beside you, if anyone at all, and a quiet departure. If you're hosting, a simple please continue, I'll be right back works beautifully, but no announcing I'll be right back like you're on stage at a comedy club. No tapping the table and saying, sorry, I just have to pee. True story. I've witnessed it. I still can't unhear it. Elegant people understand the art of slipping away. Rule number 3, don't push your plate away when you're done. This one drives servers and polished hosts absolutely mad. You finish your meal, lean back with a satisfied sigh, and then shove your plate forward like you're sending it down a bowling lane. No, ma'am. In formal settings, once you're done eating, you simply place your cutlery neatly on the plate, usually at the 4 o'clock position. That's your silent, I'm done signal. No need to slide anything, stack dishes, or start wiping the table like you're closing up at a diner. And whatever you do, don't start handing plates to the waitstaff like you're helping clear the table at Aunt Carol's barbecue. They have a system, a rhythm, and when you interrupt it, you're not being helpful. You're being, well, chaos in heels. Not to mention the risk of knocking a wine glass into someone's lap in the name of efficiency. So sit back, relax, and let the professionals do their thing. That's the chicest kind of helpful. Rule number 4, reaching across the table. Friendly or faux pas, you spot the salt. It's right there, just past the olives. Technically reachable if you stretch your arm like a polite pterodactyl. But should you? The answer is no, always. Always ask for it to be passed, especially in formal or semi-formal settings. Reaching is invasive. You're breaking the invisible boundary that every table has, even when people pretend it doesn't matter. I once saw a woman lean over a table to grab the butter. Her bracelet clanged against a glass, and her sleeve almost dipped into someone's soup. Mortifying. And the worst part? She smiled and said, "Don't mind me. Trust me." Everyone minded her. Passing the salt or asking for the vinaigrette isn't inconvenient. It's graceful. And if you're worried about asking too often, remember the person handing you the bread gets to be generous. People love that. Rule number 5, the fork that reveals more than your resume. All right, let's talk about cutlery, a topic that sounds dull until you realize it's one of the fastest ways people size you up. Imagine this. You're at a lovely dinner, white tablecloth, crystal glasses. You reach for your fork and you're holding it like a toddler gripping a crayon. Here's the truth. The way you hold your fork speaks volumes, more than your outfit. More than your LinkedIn bio. It tells people what kind of dining culture you come from. In formal European dining, which many upper-crust households still follow, you never switch the fork from left to right after cutting. You keep it in your left hand, tines down, knife in your right. Meanwhile, the American style involves cutting, then switching the fork to your right hand to eat. Less formal, but still acceptable if done neatly. I once saw a woman delicately handle a fish course with the kind of elegance that made everyone at the table sit up straighter. It was so effortless, like she grew up attending ambassador dinners. I later found out she worked in IT and hated socializing. Go figure. That's the power of knowing how to hold a fork. Rule number 6, don't clink your glasses too hard, or at all. I hate to break it to you, but those loud, joyful clinks we all love, technically, not great form. In refined etiquette, especially at formal dinners, You raise your glass in a toast, but you don't necessarily clink. Why? Because fine glassware wasn't designed for combat. And the real elegance? It's in the eye contact, not the sound effect. I once went to a wedding where, immediately after the toast, all 80 guests decided to clink glasses with the bride and groom. Meanwhile, the waiters were already standing there, arms loaded with plated appetizers, waiting for their cue to serve. Instead of a smooth transition to dinner, the waiters were trapped in a sea of clinking arms, frozen in place like very stressed, very polite coat racks. So here's the classy move. Lift your glass, find someone's eyes, smile. No clink needed, trust me. They'll remember your poise far longer than the ding of a champagne glass on the verge of shattering. Rule number 7, elbows on the table. Yes or no? Okay, this one's a little controversial, even within the etiquette world. Growing up, I was taught elbows on the table. Absolute disgrace. Might as well be chewing with your mouth open while telling a ghost story. But as I got older, I learned the nuance. During the meal, no elbows. Between courses or after dessert, when conversation flows and the mood is relaxed, it's fine. In fact, in some circles, it's even considered friendly. So what's the classy move? Watch the room. If it's a formal setting or a business dinner, keep those elbows tucked. If it's an intimate social gathering and the vibe is casual, a gentle lean-in might actually build connection. Just maybe don't cradle your face. Plant both elbows and sigh dramatically about your ex. It's a dinner table, not your therapist's couch. Rule number 8, taking the lead in a toast. Classy or cringe? This one's tricky. Should you start a toast? Here's the thing. Classy doesn't mean silent. If you're the host or one of the senior guests, it's actually a beautiful gesture to toast the company, the occasion, or simply the moment. But keep it short, and for the love of elegance, skip the inside jokes and awkward oversharing. I once watched a woman give a toast so perfect, it gave me chills. She stood, gently raised her glass and said, "To women who lift other women, and to evenings that make you feel seen." That was it. We were all obsessed with her by dessert. So yes, take the lead, but do it with grace, not like you're auditioning for a reality show. Rule number 9, always thank the host. Twice. The first thank you is immediate, at the door, or just before leaving. A warm smile, a sincere compliment, something specific. That dessert was absolutely divine. Or, I loved the conversation at our end of the table. The second thank you? That's the secret sauce. It comes the next day, a short message, a handwritten note if you're old school, even a thoughtful email. Not a throwaway, thanks for dinner, but a sentence or two that shows you noticed. I once received a thank you message that said, "You have a rare gift for making people feel seen." I left feeling lighter and more inspired. I nearly framed it. That woman could spill red wine on my carpet, and I'd still invite her back. The world doesn't need more party guests. It needs more gracious ones. Be that person. So, are these rules fussy? Maybe? Outdated? A few? But irrelevant? Not at all. Because they're not about being perfect. They're about presence. Respect. Quiet grace in a world that often forgets it. And let's be honest, anyone can show up looking expensive, but behaving beautifully? That's rare. That's the kind of elegance that lingers. You don't need a tiara to follow these rules. Just a little awareness, a little empathy. And maybe, just maybe, the strength to sit through a 7-minute delay while your Caesar salad stares at you longingly. Which of these rules do you still follow? And which ones make you roll your eyes a little? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It truly helps. As always, stay classy, manners matters.